Greetings, geeks. Welcome to transmission 687 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and joining me after an extended hiatus, I have Chris DeBona.
Hi.
And Rob Roseboom.
Hello.
Gentlemen, how's 2022 been for you guys?
Well, I dislocated my other shoulder, so now I'm symmetrical in my dislocations. And when they were doing the x-ray, they're like, do you know you had a fractured rib? I think you might have made it worse. And I'm like, thanks.
Cool.
That's great.
Yeah. So far, it's been sort of a carryover of the same shit from 2021. So
leftovers.
Yeah.
That checks out.
Yeah, I put all my misery on layaway, evidently, and now I'm paying it off. So.
Oh, man, I remember layaway. I did buy something on layaway when I was younger.
My parents used to buy things on layaway with some regularity. I remember they used to do it at Meijer, and I remember going there to I don't know if we were making the payment or if there was a coupon. I seem to remember a coupon book.
Like an S&P green stamps type thing? Or
more like a payment book you get with your student loans.
Yeah.
So the thing I was going to tell you about is, and this is a little embarrassing, but my parents were pretty middle class, but I didn't have a lot of money. And I really wanted a CD player, and the Randy Rhoads, Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne record on CD. And this is when CDs were brand new. So I put a CD player and Randy Rhoads CD came with it on layaway at a pawn shop.
Wow.
Nice.
And I got it. That was a great album, though. I got to tell you. It was Randy Rhoads Live or whatever. It's good.
I think my first CDs were Eric Clapton Unplugged and the Aladdin soundtrack.
Yeah, I'm a little older than you.
No.
So. Did they have pawn shops in Holland, Michigan?
Sure, but I didn't go to one.
Yeah, they were pretty skeevy in Salt Lake, I got to tell you. So,
Rob, what was your first CD?
I can't remember. I was just thinking it was either Bauhaus's Greatest Hits or the Stone Temple Pilots. I can't remember which one it was.
STP.
That dude didn't make it.
Who?
Didn't the lead singer from Stone Temple Pilots die?
I think so, but I'm not positive. I know the lead singer of Sublime died.
I know the lead singer of the Beatles died.
Yeah.
I mean,
Scott Weiland.
Half of
Scott
their lead
Weiland,
singers.
Chester Bennington, Jeff Gutt.
I think Weiland is the one that.
Weiland and Bennington both were. Oh, they were lead singer. I thought this meant they had died. Oh. Okay, well, I'm going to go to the website. I'm going to go to Wikipedia.
And while you're doing that, let's just celebrate the fact that after
found dead in his tour
after
bus from an
decades-
accidental drug overdose.
Oh, well, of course.
Yeah.
This timely news from 2005, brought to you by Pizza.
Speaking of timely, the JWST it launched.
It launched.
It
deployed.
It deployed.
And it's on the way to its orbit.
It's
in Lagrange 5.
It's Lagranging.
Yeah.
So that's that's nice. After like a decade of us talking about that, I continue to think it's funny that that's one of those stories that was like a story even back when I was at Slashdot. Chris, that might have been a story when you were still at Slashdot.
Well, we had talked about the follow-on to Hubble, but honestly, I don't think we posted. You might have, because Slashdot Star leaves the fold.
Yeah,
I had left, but y'all could have posted about it for sure. I mean, it's been in the works for a long time.
We did.
Where are we today? Let's see.
Well, since we're still on space stuff, let's look at the Mark Kelly gorilla footage.
Well, one thing,
right.
The thing about the James Webb is Sunshield's deployed, gantry's deployed, mirrors deployed. I think they're waiting on one latch to report back as locked, and it's one of the ones on the gantry or on the mirror.
But it takes a couple weeks to get there yet, like a couple months, right?
They're saying it's going to be another week or two before they're sure that all the latches have engaged and everything is truly in position. And then they'll start their mirror calibrations as they fly to Lagrange. because each mirror has its actuation,
Yeah.
and then they have to do the focusing stuff.
They have to do the thing where they figured out that they ground one of the mirrors off by a
Well,
billionth
they're
of an
planning for
inch.
that, right? Because the actuators don't just have X and Y
No, I know.
actuators; they can also pull and push, to help
Yeah.
change the shape of the individual mirrors. So it's a very well. Here's the thing: when they first proposed it, I think they proposed it with a separate ship sun shield, and I don't know if I remember this correctly. And so I thought it was a really bad idea because maintaining two objects in three-dimensional space, well, four-dimensional space, for
that
a
level of
telescope
accuracy?
seems really just impossible. But then they ended up not doing that. So I'm like, oh, okay. This is no more risky than anything else, except for the fact that it's so far away they can't maintain it.
Right.
So, yeah,
It's a one-way trip.
It's a one-way trip, but they also use less fuel, so they think they're going to get a longer useful life out of it. And there's also a group inside NASA over at JPL who apparently is working on a refueler that can go and pump some fuel in. So that's very exciting. Well, we know that how long it's going to last if they don't refuel it, and that's going to be about 11, 12, 15 years. If they can refuel it, that'd be exciting.
Well, I guess you got to assume that if we are talking about 10 years from now, the cost of pounds per orbit or pounds to space, I mean, we're in the midst of a bit of a revolution in terms of how much it's going to cost things to get to space. So my apologies to our podcast listener, but we are now watching astronaut Mark Kelly, who wore a gorilla costume. He smuggled a gorilla costume to the space station and didn't tell anybody. And then one day put it on, and there's just footage of him flying around.
And there's hijinks. Those damn dirty apes.
I hope he didn't tell his crewmates.
I mean, think of how much of his personal allowance went into that gag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For this video, that guy was in on the. Oh, he enjoyed it. He was wearing that thing all the time. I wonder if he tried to take it on a spacewalk. Probably not. I mean, that's probably.
Yeah, you don't think that fits inside the spacesuit?
It would be so funny to see like the gorilla mask inside the EVA suit, and EV suit. Anyway, that would be like the next level of astronaut gorilla humor.
Yeah.
I would love it. While we're in space, I just thought that, Chris, the one that you're looking at right there, the art project, it's the James Webb again.
Yeah, that's lovely.
I just thought that was a cool little dumb thing to do. That's an awesome tribute. Make your own.
Well, he has that is
too many mirrors.
That's a meteorite there in the corner.
Nerd.
No, I think he's our kind of nerd.
I agree.
Although, can I just tell you, the Wemo plug, then the plug for the light. It's like, dude, you could have hidden that. You could have done a better job on that. But I'm not going to editorialize.
You're criticizing wire management.
Well, yeah, I guess I am.
You should send him an email.
Let me ask you, Chris.
I'm not going to send him an email. Otherwise, this is a lovely piece of work.
No, it's cool. It's pretty. I don't think that's the right number of mirrors, though. I think he made his. I don't think the James Webb is symmetric. Is like that. I think it's got.
It is though.
Is it? No, I think that this one might have 6 extra mirrors, but I could totally be wrong and just never have seen a picture of the James Webb with the side mirrors fully deployed.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So now let's go back to your art piece. Yeah, it's the right number.
Yeah. All right then. I thought
it could be like smaller. I think it's smaller than the real one.
Well, I would assume the real one's fairly large. And this fits on this gentleman's wall above his poorly managed cables. Chris, if I were to have you take a picture behind your desk right now, would it be a great tangled shame?
That's a good question. Let me take a look. One moment. Oh, you mean behind that part?
I mean,
that's just a bunch of sound absorbing panels in a moderately random non-color matching.
I'm mostly just wondering if your cable management is on point or if you're just making fun of this guy.
So my my cable management is mostly shoved behind the desk. So I've got a couple of cables sticking out for plugging in my phone, my camera, but most things are shoved behind the desk, and I'm against a wall here. So,
I
um,
my great shame is underneath. I have a little like a dresser or something next to my desk, and underneath it is a tangled snarl of cables the size of Rob's medium-sized dog.
yeah. Yeah, and you found 2 cables that were mystery cables.
That's right. I moved my computer onto a table. It was on the
Yeah.
floor.
What if you unplugged one and time stopped? Huh? Like a Twilight Zone episode.
And like I'm stuck there now?
No, you can move.
Oh.
Time around you stopped, though.
But how are you guys talking? Are you outside of the influence of my missing USB cable time machine?
No, you didn't unplug the cable. We're talking a theoretical here, Rob.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
All right. This is an alternate universe thing?
No, it would just be something you haven't done yet.
Rob, are you a variant?
I was making a joke that you had unplugged my time and not Rob's, but it didn't really work because I blinked.
Well, and you were, gasping before, so I didn't know if it was just you were in incredible pain
Like, I'd hit
and had to be very still.
I had hit the still button and was off screaming in pain. Yeah. It's really not that kind of pain. It's like a dull roar in my shoulder when I like pull up my pants or tie my belt or my shoes. That kind of thing. So.
Well, let's see. U.S. surgeons have transplanted a pig heart into
This
a
is
human.
great.
Not for
This
the
is
pig.
really awesome. Well, I mean, I guess the guy's not a Islam, but like, no, this is a really, I think I've talked about Doris Taylor's work over at Texas UT, TCU, SMU. I don't know, one of those universities. She's the one who denatures organs of their DNA and then refills them with stem cells. She can do it with lambs, with pigs, and probably with human parts, but you can't experiment on people other way. Anyway, this is fantastic, And also, I have to tell you, we're not so different from these animals. Sure. And so this is very exciting. And how big do pigs get? They get pretty big. So the heart's probably as powerful as whatever this guy was rocking before, So it's very exciting.
I'm just thinking about the future where, you go and get a bull heart to increase your athletic
strong like bull.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at all that extra blood I can pump now with this thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I look forward to the day where we have to have a serious discussion about the Olympics and whether or not transplanting hearts is allowed.
So is this one of the ones where they introduced human DNA into the pig and then used the pig's parts? Or is this just a pig one?
I thought this was a genetically modified pig, but
I thought so too. Let me take a look.
I wasn't the one of us who shared the article.
Me either.
Chris didn't take his responsibilities seriously to RTFA.
There you go. No, honestly, during the holidays, I'll fling something in and I'm like, I don't know when we're going to talk about this. But gosh, it's exciting.
It is neat.
Okay, lickable screen.
Lickable screens. Of course, Japan.
And
hold on.
The perfect time for such technologies too, right?
So I have a very good friend, Aziz. And
I'm sorry.
One of the things, the way we met each other, we were at a conference and somebody was demonstrating a tongue emitted, electrically emitted screen. So you put it on your tongue and it's got an array of electrodes on it and it zaps your tongue and you close your eyes. And after a couple minutes, you can see what's going on via your tongue. And so Aziz did it first, and then the guy's like, we can't really clean up. I'm like, screw it. And it was awesome. You could play Pong. We played Pong on this little 4x4 screen, like 8x8 screen. And and Aziz and I are still good friends. So there you go. So the Japanese are great, but this was American. It was 14 years ago. So 13 years ago. So this is great though. So a lickable TV screen that can imitate food flavors. That's very interesting, right?
Except that I have to assume that I assume you have to fill your TV up with ingredients.
No, it uses
Flavor
how does it
samples.
imitate it? Here we
A
go.
carousel of canisters create flavor samples.
Oh,
So you got to
Yeah,
refill your TV.
You have to
That's
spray
dumb.
it.
that's not. That's just food. That's just easy cheese on like a hydrophobic substrate. It probably has like a bin of flavor that's on the
Yeah.
end. So it's like
And
a
you know-
water. It's a waterfall of flavor.
It's like a printer, and you're constantly running out of sweet. You
Yeah.
know, because I imagine sweet, sour, bitter, and they just
Yep.
combine them, you know, to make every flavor.
They don't
Yeah.
let
So
you
you have-
print. They don't let you print candy
Yeah.
canes if you've run out of umami.
Right. So you
Freaking
got
cannon.
a closet full of bitter, constantly running out of sweet and salty.
Right,
Does it
you're,
just go right down into a drain? That's my question.
you're always running out of sweet and salty, and you never are. You have to throw away the whole cartridge, even though you didn't use all of the fish flavor.
Okay. Yuki Hui. No. Here it is. Miyashita works with a team of about 30 students, those poor students, and has produced a variety of flavor-related devices, including a fork that makes food taste richer. He built the first TTTV prototype that cost 100,000 yen or $653 to make. He's been in talks with companies about using the spray technology for devices that can apply a pizza or chocolate taste to a slice of toasted bread. Literally easy cheese. Literally spray on chocolate.
Gross.
It's like, I'm not against research of any kind. Well,
That's not true.
you know, not eugenics and stuff. Let's leave that for the Nazis. But this is probably not the most important science.
No. This might just be funny.
Do you remember when we were when I was a kid, they had basically like oil sprays that you could, and you would like fill them with like, whippet canisters or whatever, and then you could spray anything as an oil, whether it was avocado oil, not olive oil, and the rest. And then they had the pump olive oil sprays.
We still
You
do
know?
that.
Yeah. And it's like, this is, if you stick chocolate in there with some coconut oil so it can get through the
Just
spigot,
Just
you're a
think about
Japanese
this.
researcher.
Pizza flavored envelopes, huh?
Oh,
Gross.
Right.
your postman has thanked you.
That's a hard pass from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Magnum PI. I know it's brave, and I appreciate that you appreciate my stand against experimentation on humans, opposite a IRB.
But Christopher is pro the steroid mutant Olympics, and let me be clear, I am as well. I want to have.
But we've talked about this before, right?
I want to have
like,
one Olympics, which is no holds barred. If you want to have a robot arm, fine.
There's that whole SNL sketch about that.
Is
About
there?
they have the first steroids Olympics, and the weightlifters rip their arms off their bodies and stuff
tear
like
off,
that.
man.
I mean,
So I crashed and I augured into my shoulder and I dislocated my shoulder.
So now you want to go to the steroid Olympics?
I was unable to reset my shoulder on the hill. I tried and I just couldn't do it. And because honestly, it's so much pain until you reset it. When you reset it, it feels great. So you're absolutely incentivized to try to reset your shoulder. Go watch a YouTube video.
No,
Anyway.
thank you.
So the patrollers come and get me. They tobogganed me down the mountain, which was actually incredibly painful, but they were great. They were awesome. And the patrol person, she asked me, I don't remember her name. The dude was Ethan. She was somebody else. She goes, "Hey, do you know how fast you were going?" And I go, "Yes, I do." I pull out my phone, bring up my ski tracks, and I was going 32 miles an hour when I hit and stopped.
Ow.
She's like, "That's pretty fast." And I'm like, "Is it?" She's like, "I don't know." And but the point I'm trying to make here is that given the new equipment, given I'm, one shoulder's been rebuilt with Teflon string and the rest, and all the rest, at what point are you really just a pure human competing? Right?
It's true.
It's more like Formula One, where they say, "Listen, you can have a car that weighs this much. Whatever you do with it is up to you." And then Mercedes built that separate divided turbo that went through the engine and changed the game like overnight. It's like, at what point are we?
So like I know with a lot of athletic injuries in the past, ligament replacements and all those sorts of things,
Tommy John surgery.
You get full sort of movement, but you don't necessarily have an edge right? But as far as the development of stem cell stuff goes now, like a lot of NFL players, Peyton Manning, his career went another probably 2 or 3 years at least, because he got experimental stem cell treatments that he had to go to Europe to take care of, and he got like way better motion in his neck, like almost like rejuvenation. So at that point, yes, when you get to the point where you're old and we figured out a way to give you the body of a young man again,
sign me up.
So Christopher said that 32 miles an hour is very fast. You know, honestly, I'm probably skiing too fast now that I'm 50. But when I was 46, I hit my record for my skiing speed, and that was 64 miles an hour. And if I had fallen then, you know, that would have been really bad. But yeah, no, most falls happen at around between 20 and 30 miles an hour for me. So, you know.
Ow.
Anyway, Starlink works great. I think I posted this because it's just such a cute story.
Put it on the screen. Put it on the screen.
Oh, sorry. There you go. No,
there it is. TVs.
Look, it's kitties.
They're all sitting on the Starlink. That was actually a thing too. People are complaining that the Starlinks, especially the first gen, the dishes apparently run quite hot.
Oh yeah.
And
they're basically a 100-watt heater inside there, right?
And they were saying that they
160-watt specialized power supply.
They were overheating in hot environments and shutting down. So,
but for here, that would be perfect because hell, even now I have Dish Network for television. Right. And if we get a lot of snow, I have to go outside with either the hose if it's not too cold, or this gigantic brush contraption I built out of the gutter cleaner and a push broom to clean off the satellite dish because it, you know, blocks all transmission. So.
Have you considered and just please consider cats? Rob
will not consider cats.
So go on Amazon, look up Frost King, and put a roll of the Frost King thermostatically controlled heating wire behind the dish. You'll never have to screw around again.
On top of my roof?
Yeah, go up on your roof and then tape the Frost King thermostatic wire behind the dish. Ask me how I know. Because we had a big freeze. No, but we had a big freeze on our tankless hot water heater, which is outside, froze. The cold water line froze. So I'm installing tape today or tomorrow. So it never happens again.
Lucky you. Hey, Morbius got delayed.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm not sure if anything of value is lost.
Nope.
You know, I'm not sure this is going to be good.
This might be the best one they've made yet.
It might be.
It'd be hard to be the worst.
So what do you think is the worst?
Out of the DC?
Boy. This is Marvel.
No, this is Marvel.
No, this is Sony. Marvel. Sony. This is the Sony hybrid or whatever.
We can't blame Fantastic Four on them.
No, that's what Paramount?
That was kept Feige.
I think the Fantastic Four might be my least favorite of sort
the
of
Marvels?
Modern.
The most recent Fantastic Four, or
Fan Four Stick?
The second one.
Maybe the one with the very first one with Galactus, when Galactus is just like a black cloud.
Ugh, so dumb.
So bad. Oh, speaking of so dumb, but I'm so looking forward to it. Moonfall, they had a new trailer out.
Oh, when is that coming out?
And they have a smoke monster. I'm going to watch the hell out of this dumb thing.
I assume you watched Don't Look Up.
Oh, yes. I loved it. It was great.
I suspect that Don't Look Up and Moonfall, while similar in a very obvious way, are going to be exactly polar opposites in every other way.
Yeah. I thought Don't Look Up was really good.
Depressing.
Like too good for the source material.
Too real.
You know what I mean? Like they got, you know, Adam McKay, he's so connected, you know, so he's like, I've got this idea, let's do this thing. And then he gets every good actor in the world to do it. And the whole production is just out of hand.
I felt it actually kind of gave me Idiocracy vibes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is too right.
Mm-hmm.
Like your parody is too cutting.
Well, I told you when me and Christine we watched Idiocracy together, and she's like, I'm like, what did you think? And she's like, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny at all. Like she's like, no, this is a horror movie.
No, I watched
And I'm
it.
like, if she sees Don't Look Up, it's over.
I watched it like a year ago, and I hadn't watched it since it came out, probably.
I got who's the guy? Jonah Hill. He's so good.
Yeah.
In that.
And Don't Look Up.
Like, I want to strangle
Yep.
the fucker. Like,
yep. And like so real too, because like he's supposed to be the president's kid
Eric
or
Trump,
whatever. He was
Yeah,
Jared.
he was Jared and Eric and the other fucker, whatever, Don Jr. Like all in one. I just wanted to strangle him like in public. I'm sorry, Robert. You were gonna say something, or you were yawning because we were boring you. I don't remember which.
Maybe yawning. I was gonna say.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's continue.
Hedgehogs.
Gonna kill us all.
They're gonna finish up what political unrest and COVID started. The hedgehogs are here to sweep up, to finish.
They're
things
so
good.
cute, though.
Yep.
We'll be like, oh, so cute.
No one had money on the hedgehogs.
Nope.
Bringing on the apocalypse.
So what's the story? I can't read this one.
Oh, they just carried MRSA. They found so.
Cool. Oh, and there was that picture of a hedgehog getting an X-ray. That was so cute.
They're so cute for causing the end of the world.
Here, let me find the hedgehog getting an X-ray. Let's see. Oh, he looks like a little. Here. Oh, that's somebody's artistic interpretation.
Oh, wow.
Getting an X-ray.
Less impressive.
Betty White died.
So did Bob Saget.
Here you go. Look at this poor fella.
Oh.
They taped him down.
He's so fat.
And then this is a meme, so they're like, I expect you to die, Mr. Hedgehog. But
that checks out.
But he's so chubby, but he's kind of like a fillet. It's like he's been filleted, Like I didn't know they were that skinny in cross section,
Did you watch the goldfish driving a car?
Dude, I love this one. I watched that goldfish drive that thing around a lot.
Will you tell us about it? Because I didn't watch it. I assumed it was.
Basically, it's just an aquarium on this, like, we'll say car very loosely. Anyway, there's sensors underneath that track where the goldfish goes, and they found very easily you can train the goldfish to figure out that if it swims towards an area and the car goes there, it can pilot this car around, and they have it navigating all kinds of stuff. So it just sits and swims in a direction, and that's where the car goes. If it gets to an object, it swims in a different direction to avoid the object. And I would let a goldfish drive me down the road. This right here, not forget Tesla. This is the future of driverless cars. We're going to put goldfish in
driverless
semi-trucks and send them down the highway.
Look, you got a choice. Do you want to be driven in an Uber by a person, or do you want to be driven in a what would you call a fish Uber?
Do you know how much a koi fish is? How cheaper a koi fish is to a Teamster? I mean,
yeah, you can get like 4 of those for one of those LiDAR units. I'm just saying.
Kat has a very large goldfish that she's been feeding in a very large tank for some time, and now, in fact, I have a webcam on it, but it's huge, and she says that that's like a $50 fish if you were to try to sell that because it's so big. So I'd trust that fish to drive my car.
Yeah,
for sure.
Can I say one thing?
Is it about Star Trek Picard?
Yes. When I posted the Picard story, I knew what Robert would say, and it's one of the reasons why I so admire and I love Rob Roseboom. So I put this up, and what did you say?
I said they all should have gotten android bodies last year.
Exactly. It's like
instead of just Picard.
Like 50 people test positive. Apparently, there's 400 people in the production. I'm like, what are all these people doing?
Well, they're
all sharing the lickable screen.
Yeah, right.
Don't lick the screen. It might have COVID.
And I really like the blonde gal on the right there. I forget her name. Allison, whatever.
Allison Pill.
I think she's really fun. And I really liked Picard, but this is not Picard. This is a different show. This is This is just bad.
Yep. If they just would have named him Gary,
Yeah.
it would have been
Yeah,
fine.
Gary of Space.
Yep. Gary. Star Trek Gary.
Space Gary.
Android Gary.
And
Adventures of Android Gary.
why did he pick the old body?
Yeah, because of stupid reasons.
Because
Does he want a dislocated shoulder? Because that's what happens as you get older. You dislocate stuff.
I kind of wonder if they filmed two versions of the ending, one in case he died and one in case he lived.
Well, you know, they
Well, 'cause,
probably imaged the hell out of him.
Well, so Betty White died, right? You said that earlier.
Mhm.
They were there was a special, like an Anthem Events special that was supposed to air on her birthday, and I
Oh, wow.
it was like a movie theater event, right? Like, you know, how they had the commercials for like come to the movie theater for an event, and then it's opera, and you're like, I don't care, I'm not going to go to the movie theater to watch opera.
Oh, the Met at the movie.
Yeah.
theater.
So they had a Betty White special, and I was like, well, who has the insurance bet on whether or not Betty makes it to her 100th birthday? Because they had to start production on that thing a year ago, right?
True that.
So, like, somebody had to put up insurance money.
All right. One thing we haven't talked about is so there's this. You remember the Friends? Oh, crud! What just happened?
Are you talking
The-
about how
The Friends
Gareth
reunion
had cancer?
special.
Or Gunther?
Gunther? Oh, and he's dead. I don't care about Gunther.
Gunther had cancer, so he didn't come on the special.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. And then they had the Harry Potter reunion thing.
I watched them
I
both.
don't want to watch actors talk about something that happened 22 years
I
ago
hear
in
ya.
their careers.
Much less perform in them.
This is too. There's no performance. It's just them sitting around saying how great they are.
No, I mean
And-
Picard.
Yeah. Well, I mean Picard is just dumb, you know. But yeah. So
They deep faked
I'm,
him.
I'm against the reunion specials. What I'm saying. That said, Betty
I'm-
White, nice lady,
I'm
but I'm not
indifferent.
going to watch some 100th birthday of Betty White. I mean, I don't know her from Adam. You know.
Sure. See, I will watch documentaries
Well, she
of
comes.
anything.
She comes after Adam. Her name's Betty.
Oh, thank you.
So
Adam and
I don't
Betty.
know her from Cornelius. I'm gonna let Robert take this one because this is very much a Robert story, and he'd already seen it when I posted it in the channel.
yeah. Yeah. So they found the largest specimen of ichthyosaur they've ever found in the UK. Pretty complete fossil. It's like I think almost 30 feet long. You know, that's cool for those guys, but I'll just point out that the actual largest ichthyosaur they found is almost double this size. So it's like, you know, scientifically not that interesting.
So this one is the largest metric one, or
The largest one they found in the UK.
oh, okay.
So it's like, you know, this is the biggest dog in Michigan or whatever. You know, not really the biggest dog, but still, you know, a 30-foot, you know, not really a dinosaur, but a 30-foot prehistoric reptile that looked like a, you know, dolphin, just with no blowhole. It's kind of cool.
The photo on the thumbnail is cool too. Just seeing the dude laying next to the fossil, like with a drone from above or whatever. That's cool. Good sense of scale. The last one that we have on the list is just one that makes me so angry. Rob, you shared the airline one.
Yeah, it's just
Why does it make you upset?
Oh,
the wasted fuel. Does that make you upset?
the wasted everything.
Now, I want to know what specifically upsets Mr. Malda.
Oh, I hate any time that bureaucracy artificially creates inefficiency.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
This is that. They should be able to register empty flight, not flying it, and keep their slot.
Right. There should be a form that they can fill out. This has a checkbox that says, look, it's COVID. We keep our spot. We're not going to waste, you know, what, $10,000, $20,000 worth of fuel
more
and
than
carbon
that.
emissions just to fulfill some stupid regulation. Everybody can just be chill for 6 months.
I mean, wear and tear on a 737 is like 25,000 an hour
So
in
this
fuel. So
particular Brussels airline operated just this winter with 3,000 empty flights, and then their larger parent company in total confirmed that last year they had 18,000 flights without any passengers, just so that they can keep their slots at major airlines in the union. So
is it ICAO, the International Aviation Authority, or whatever it is? They should answer for this. They should have put out a thing saying, listen, if you have an empty flight, a truly empty flight, don't fly it, and we won't hold it against you. The problem is they don't speak for every airport, every country, every deal that they've cut, and it's just like,
I understand.
This is deeply offensive, right? Because
Yeah.
somebody inside Lufthansa said, no, we're not going to fly empty legs. It's too much wear and tear. It's not worth it. It's burning too much fuel.
Well, yeah,
and if they try to take our slots away, we'll sue the shit out of them.
I would like to know what the fuel costs were.
Tens of millions of dollars
times 3 hours, right? So times 20,000 an hour. Figure that's your rule of thumb, right? So
what do they say? Every time you fly, that's like your carbon emissions for the year. So that's the carbon emissions for the year of every empty chair times 3,000 flights or 18,000 flights. That's extraordinary. Like, I'm not the guy that gets all worked up about that kind of thing in particular, but that's evil is what that is. That's unintentional evil.
So strictly speaking, from a dollar amount, that's $1 billion in wear, tear, and fuel for Lufthansa for those 18,000 flights.
That is nuts.
Yeah, that's...
You think that can't fund an army of lawyers to defend those slots?
You think that couldn't bought COVID vaccines for like half a continent?
Yeah. $1 billion.
Yeah, that sort of thing just
spend a quarter of it on lawyers, and you'll never lose those slots. I mean, you can spend the other $750 million on fun stuff like 2 more planes or COVID masks. I don't know, whatever you buy.
Yay!
Pretzels. It's German. Pretzels.
All right, guys. I have one last thing that we can choose to punt on, but we could talk about the Matrix.
Well, I don't have very much to say about it.
What do you think?
So, I actually, I walked into this expecting it to be absolutely dreadful because I like The Matrix, and then they made 2 more movies that get worse somehow.
Yeah,
right.
They were pretty bad.
So I had very low expectations, and I was wondering how they were gonna have. Oh, this is The Matrix again, and I kind of liked. There's about 20 minutes of the movie that I really, really liked because I thought it must have been what the Wachowskis must have gone through after the success of The Matrix, when they have the scene, spoiler alert, where they are going to do a reboot of the Matrix video game, and all those people are pitching things about what the Matrix is about and all that stuff. I thought that was I bet it was great for them, very cathartic,
very real
to do that. I'm sure it was great fun, and I appreciated that from a viewer standpoint, not necessarily in the greater story arc. The whole story is just garbage. They didn't even make it. But that particular part of it, I thought was pretty fun, and I enjoyed quite a bit.
The thing that I was right there with you on that point. I think the thing that got to me was there was an exchange, maybe in that same sequence, but maybe a little bit earlier, where they said something to the effect. They says to Mr. Anderson. They said,
Mr. Anderson.
They said, if you don't do it, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And that kind of hit me personally. Like, I get it when you have a box of Legos and then somebody says, we're taking your Legos
unless you build this right now.
Yeah, like I get that hit real.
I bet it would for you, given your experience with a certain website.
Yeah.
That ends in .org.
So that registered, but the action sucked. This actually had exactly the same problem as Ghostbusters Afterlife for me.
Oh yeah.
Which is the first half of the movie might be good. It's putting things on the board that could be interesting and could pay off. And then in the case of Ghostbusters Afterlife, the last hour of it is just, now we're just going to do again things that you've already seen. And in the case of this, now we're just going to throw a whole bunch of crap at the wall, and none of it's going to stick.
Okay. So I'm going to disagree with both of you. When they had the scene in the game company where it was Warner Brothers requiring that we make the sequel,
Yep.
I felt mugged. I felt like they were grinding it in. You're going to watch this thing? Screw you. And we know that you're not going to like it, but we have to do it or they're going to bring in some hack to do this. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. And so that's when I fucked off. I was like, this is a complete waste of my time. This is at best going to be masturbatory. At worst, it's going to be chuckling like, we're in this together, this terrible thing. And I'm like, fuck this, man. I'm too old to watch this kind of bullshit. That said, it was cool to see Colleen Wing again as Bugs. Like, that was the only part I was like, I really liked her in Iron Fist. I thought she was the only good thing about Iron Fist. And I was like, I'm glad she's still working.
Yeah, apparently
I don't like having stuff ground into me.
Apparently there was some scheduling.
Cranky.
There was some scheduling stuff that was unclear if she was going to get to bring that character back to the MCU, which I you know what, I'll shut up because I don't want to spoil things.
Yeah. I mean, I think she was probably the only actor I could tolerate in the 20 minutes or so that I watched. Neil Patrick Harris, I just wanted to punch him in the face.
He was.
Keanu was bored and tired.
So we're watching. So we're watching it, and Kathleen is getting really angry. And I says, honey, what you have to understand is that Neil Patrick Harris is literally wearing the blue pills on his face. And from that moment on, she was basically, fuck this. Like, oh, I get it. There's no subtlety whatsoever.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, it's just terrible. You know, it's like when they do this to movies, you're like, you know. And the thing is, The Matrix was so good.
Yep.
Like, there are even parts of the two other movies that I think are still high marks. Like the fight scene where you had the guy who plays Boba Fett, like shooting the incoming squid monster things. That was actually really well done. Like, I rewatched that fight scene like a lot.
There's one good movie.
Well done.
There's one good movie worth of material.
Yeah, right.
Out of the 3 sequels to The Matrix, there's as much good stuff in the 3 sequels as there is in the first movie. But they're just not coherently written. They're just hot messes. Not saying I could do better, but sure wish they did.
This isn't about doing better or worse. We have other choices, man.
I think we probably could, though, is the thing.
Well, so that's the thing. There was Cracked, which came back like a year ago on YouTube. They do these $20 versions of movies, and their $20 version of Matrix Resurrections is a laugh riot. It's so funny. So I would recommend you go check that out.
All right, then I'll do that after.
Here you go. We
click save.
Yeah, here we go. I'll just play that.
Here's your Legos. Wearing his stupid blue.
He was wearing straw, you know, stuff they had lying around.
Blue straw.
Whoa! Oh, it's just so good, you know. Anyways, we should link to this.
Hot mess. All right, put it in channel. I'll put it on.
It's a good time.
I'll throw it on the zone. Gentlemen, let's say goodbye. Go about our busy and exciting days.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
See ya.
Goodbye, Chris DeBona. Don't break your arm again.
You know, I broke this one. I got to break. I'm going for symmetry.
All right.
You know. So.
Good for you. I will say goodbye. I'm Robcorritated Taco Malda. That was episode 687 of Geeks in Space. We'll see you Friday with more news. Bye.